So I'm trying to watch every single Marvel movie before Avengers Doomsday. And I have to say, I've done a good job so far. So I'm going to try reviewing everything like I did with the Deadpool franchise, for example. So today's video is going to be on Guardians of the Galaxy Trilogy. So without saying too much, let's get into the first one. Guardians of the Galaxy. I like this movie. And I guess I like all of them, honestly. This movie did a good job at introducing an ensemble cast and balancing them together. Dare I say, it even did it better than the Avengers. For the Avengers, you got to see all the characters beforehand, like Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. Here, though, you see them all in one movie, and their introductions didn't really feel dragged. That's why people on the internet who are accustomed to the Phase 1 style of the MCU and decide that they want to have an original opinion about the DCU and say something like, after Superman, we should get a Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Aquaman movie. To you, I say, shut up, bro. For the DCU, I don't think it's even going to be like the MCU where it has a big spine and every project is going to be like a cog in a huge machine. I would prefer that these movies and series should stand on their own, but still feel like they're in a superhero universe. Some movie franchises could be connected and have their own crossovers, like let's say Batman Saga with the Bat family that culminates in a No Man's Land type of crossover. What I'm saying is that the franchises should be able to do their own thing without trying to always fit into that machine. And for the cases of crossovers, you could just do one. In the comics, there wasn't really any build up to DCK, it just kinda happened. And it's doing fine. I love the Scott Snyder comic so far. I don't particularly like the idea of building up a villain in a franchise that doesn't really concern them. Like people complain about Avengers Doomsday not having any build up. Like, bro, if the movie is good and it had a good marketing, then bro, come on. It's going to get lots of popularity. Like it's an Avengers movie, so they don't really need a build up. There wasn't really any much build up to Age of Ultron, and it still did over $1 billion. So in essence, what I'm saying is that the DCU shouldn't copy the MCU, and their priority should always be quality first. Okay, I think I've strayed away from Guardians of the Galaxy for a bit. Now let's get back to Guardians of the Galaxy. I like how they all didn't like each other until they had a similar goal that binded them together, and they actually grew to appreciate themselves later on. I honestly feel like Gamora and Quill's relationship was done the best here, because here it wasn't annoying and it was actually existent and wasn't parasocial. There's also something I found out. Thanos actually appeared a lot in this movie, but I don't remember seeing Josh Brolin being in the credits at the end of the movie. It's a good thing he appeared because his character is heavily involved with Nebula and Gamora because he's their father. Brolin as a villain was really a power-hungry dude. That's even what brought the team together, because of the power stone that he was looking for. But aside that, it's kind of like a one-note villain. I think the same thing about the Nova Corps. They are kind of one note, and sometimes I feel like they overstay their welcome in the movie. But overall, I love this movie. The ending was really good, especially Groot's sacrifice and them using the power of friendship. Sure, unintelligent people on the internet act like the power of friendship is a bad plot device, but if it's written well, then it will really work well. So yeah, I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Okay, I've said this a lot, but I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now this one focuses more on Peter and the theme of fatherhood. It's a good one, but don't get it twisted. The other characters are still in this, a lot for that matter, so don't think that they got casted to the side because of Quill. They are still very, very present in this movie. Rocket and Groot have a trip with the Ravagers, and Rocket learns to appreciate Quill more, and he really had this strong introspective moment where he realized that he pushes people away because he doesn't want them to accept him, because he also doesn't accept himself and he's scared no one really like him. Groot in this movie is very, very cute. You remember I said he sacrificed himself in the last one, so he grew back. So now he's like a baby in this one, and boy, I like seeing him on screen, to say the least. Drax has a really good character moment with Mantis. Like the way Drax and Mantis bounced off each other was really, really nice to see. Gamora and Nebula reconcile, and you actually get to sympathize with Nebula and kind of resent Thanos a bit more. You see, that's good build up. You see, that's how you build up a character, because Gamora and Nebula really have an impact, or really feel the impact from Thanos' bad behavior as a character. And it would make more sense to see Thanos in the Guardians of the Galaxy project than seeing him in a Spider-Man post-credit scene or in an Ant-Man post-credit scene. You see, that's how to build a villain. Put him where it concerns him. So you put him in the post-credit scene of an Avengers movie, you put him a bit in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, then you put him in an Avengers movie. It's not like we have to see Doctor Doom in every post-credit scene of a movie that's coming out this year that has the Marvel logo on it. That's not how you do it. At that point, you're forcing him down our throats. So please, Marvel, don't do that. Don't listen to those idiots on the internet. Please, I'm begging. Okay, now when it comes to Quill, Ego, and Yondu, I think that's where the movie really excels, and it's really where it reaches its peak. Ego is such a good name for the character because that's exactly what he is. He found out his purpose solely by being egotistical. He wanted to kind of make sure the whole universe revolved around him by basically being the whole universe. And it was reflected on his parenting because he wanted Peter Quill to be a cog in his ego trip. Yeah, you see what I did there? Yeah, that's some deadbeat dad behavior there. I want to also realize that he's been kind of a dick and he tried to right his wrongs for the rest of the movie by saving Quill, and his death kind of made me feel bad. And yeah, this movie was also funny in the build up to his death, like when Quill called him Mary Poppins. That was a good joke. And I have to also say, I love the comedy in this movie. I laughed a bit more than I did in the first one, so I think the comedy improved in this one. And I love the fact that I got to sympathize with Yondu as a character because he was mainly a side antagonist to Quill in the first one, but in the second one I actually found myself rooting for him more. Now, another thing this movie really excels at is its cinematography. Like, the MCU has a lot of scenes that are visually stunning, like the time traveling scenes in Endgame, and the whole idea of astral projection in Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange again too in that scene where he travels to the multiverse in the first movie, and also any scene in the mirror dimension. First time Ant-Man sees the quantum realm, and in this movie it was where Yondu and Rocket were traveling at max speed trying to get to Ego's planet. Another scene that was visually striking that I loved in this movie was the moment where Quill realized that Ego killed his mother. That dolly zoom effect was done perfectly, and Chris Pratt's acting was done so well. Nah, I need to give my flowers to Chris Pratt. But sadly, this movie isn't perfect, and it's the subplot with the yellow people, and I promise you I don't mean Asians. Like, these people are actually painted yellow, so please, I'm not racist. Aside from that, I don't really have anything bad to say about this movie. I'm giving Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 an 8.5. Okay, before we get to Volume 3, let's do a bit of fucking around. If you don't want to watch this, please skip to the part where we review Volume 3, because I want to talk about the Avengers Doomsday trailer, because I didn't want to make a full video on this by myself. And honestly, the hate the first one in particular got was an overreaction. And sadly, that's the consensus about anything with Marvel these days. If it's not what everybody thought it was going to be, then it's the worst thing that ever existed. And that's annoying because it shows these fandoms are becoming overly entitled and insatiable, and oh come on, you guys are becoming unbearable to interact with on the internet. Is Marvel a bit desperate now? Hell yes. It's a sign that they know that they have something to lose, and so far I think they're trying their best. And I think this is why I'm not a big fan of these build-ups, because now these fandoms are a bit entitled. And another reason it's annoying is that these expectations and backlash from these fans, basically if we just do the same thing over and over again because the fans like it and it's not anything groundbreaking, then I think we'll just reach a formulaic trap. And at that point, these movies are just going to be slop. But I'll be honest, the MCU did kind of mess up with Kang, specifically in Ant-Man, and not even in Loki, because in the source material, Kang doesn't really have any much of a business with Ant-Man. Thanos worked in Guardians because he's literally the father of the two main characters of the franchise, but Kang really has no business with Ant-Man. But for what it's worth, the writers were able to write a story that even though it's not the best, it was still something. And that's why sometimes these movies tend to feel like they're a cog in a big machine rather than an actual movie on its own. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania didn't really push any of the characters, they didn't really undergo any form of character development. They're really just there to set up Kang. And that feels bad because that's an Ant-Man movie that's been wasted. So yeah, the Captain America trailer got a lot of hate, and it was also so stupid, the hate that it got. I think his character send-off was a bit vague because they still wanted to do something with his character down the line. There's also the argument that he's taking the spotlight away from Sam Wilson. And to you, I say, did he ever actually get spotlights in the first place? The sad thing is that Marvel didn't really use him well as Captain America, so I find it funny that he has lots of people defending him. So yeah, the other trailers were nice to see, and I'm actually excited for what the MCU releases next. Like, I love seeing Thor, I love seeing the X-Men, and I love seeing the Wakandans and Ben Grimm. But yeah, I can't wait for anything Marvel wants to release next. I honestly can't wait. I need some more Marvel content because I'm tired of watching these pretentious prestige movies with very terrible endings. I'm looking at you, Marty Supreme. Yeah, bite me on that one. I didn't like the movie as much as I thought I would. It's like a 7 out of 10, and that 7 is because the acting was good, but the plot itself was very mediocre, and a very messy screenplay if you actually read into the movie. And okay, I just wanted to talk a bit about the state of the MCU right now and my opinions on the Avengers Doomsday trailer. And I also have to say that I'm actually excited for Avengers Doomsday. And even though it seems like I'm the only one who is, I will stay on that hill all by myself. So no more stalling, let's get into what is arguably the best Guardians of the Galaxy movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is easily the best one in the franchise. It is the closest one to perfect, and it's more impressive because this is the longest one, clocking in at 2.5 hours. Personally, I loved all the characters in this, well, all except past Gamora from Endgame. The two main characters in this one were Quill and even more so, Rocket. Quill learned to move on and discover more about life and connecting with your real family even though it's been very long. While Rocket finally learned to accept himself and be proud of who he is, a raccoon. You see, Rockets from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 would be like to be called Raccoon, but then in Volume 3, he embraced being a raccoon. That is true character growth right there.
Name's Rocket. Rocket Raccoon.
And the villain of this movie, the High Evolutionary, is actually the best in this whole franchise. This guy is everything Ronin wishes he was. And I'm proud to say that this is the first Marvel movie in the MCU to use the F word. And it's done in the most casual way possible. I mean, thank God this movie did this, because if Deadpool and Wolverine came out first, then I guess it would have been easily overshadowed, because damn, every other word that was used in that movie was a profanity word.
Okay. Now what? Open the door!
It was just profanity after profanity after profanity. But don't get it wrong, I still like Deadpool and Wolverine. But sadly, the movie isn't perfect, even though it's very close. Future Gamora's inclusion felt a bit forced, and I could tell that James Gunn had other plans for her character. And the same thing with Adam Warlock too. He felt really out of place in this script, but James had to use him, especially since he was teased at the post-credit scene of the second one. But honestly, the highs in this movie were so high that I can actually overlook any problem this movie has. Rocket's character work is honestly some of the best I've ever seen in all of these comic book movies. Hell, in movies in general. And I love how the High Evolutionary perfectly juxtaposed him. The ending was sad because we won't get to see these characters again. The characters ended in such a good place that the sadness is really like turned into joy, and that was like a proper send-off for these people. This is actually the pinnacle of writing in Marvel, and honestly in all of cinema. I'm giving Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 9.5 out of 10. This is truly a masterpiece of a trilogy. So yes, I'm adding it to the best trilogy tier list. Shout out to Cosmonauts Variety Hour for the idea, and it goes into the near perfect tier. Thank you, James Gunn, for all your good work at Marvel, and I can't wait to see more of your DC stuff, because I really love Superman. So thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please like, please subscribe. I'll make more trilogy videos later down the line. Let me know which one you want as a top priority. Maybe I could do Captain America next, maybe I could do Iron Man next, maybe I could even do Harry Potter. If I'm making something like X-Men, it's going to be very long, because I'm going to review all the X-Men movies, and I have X-Men Apocalypse left to watch. I could do Spider-Man, but I have to review all the Spider-Man movies, because like why not? So I have to watch Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, I have to watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and I have to watch the Spider-Verse movies with Tom Holland's trilogy too. It's going to be very long, but it's also going to be very fun. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Now see you in the next